Listen, kid, don't talk about our age. We're live, by the way.
I know.
Let's
I
go.
was trying to catch George talking about his hemorrhoids, but unfortunately, I did not.
What are you
Should have
talking
streamed from the
about?
bathtub. Should have streamed from the
I
bathtub.
don't call my kids hemorrhoids, Justin. That's just wrong.
You said they were your pride and joy. Ish.
They are, but I didn't say they were hemorrhoids. I love my kids.
All right, I tried to save you there, but that's okay. All right, so welcome back to the Funday Draft Show, guys. First episode of the new season. Season 3, episode 1. So the Funday Draft Show is a little bit of a change of pace from our normal network stuff. This is still the Toilets to Titles podcast network, and we are still brought to you by joinrival.com/Toilets to Titles. /Title Tribe. Joinrival.com/Title Tribe. It's patreon.com/Toilets to Titles was the next thing I was going to talk about, but that's all right. We're going to get to most of all of that later on. But the idea of this show, a little bit different than your normal shows that you see on the T2T network, like we talked about, but it's also a little bit different than your typical draft show. This is a draft show. But this isn't just a mock draft. We're actually going to be drafting things that are not football players or any other sport for that matter. We have several of these episodes in our playlist. Go back and check out the last two off seasons of the NFL off seasons. We call them regular seasons at T2T because that's when we kick it into high gear. We're going to be running these episodes every third Saturday. We're also going to be reaching out to those of you in the Gilded that might want to join our episodes as well. For future episodes. But for this one, we are going to be drafting our favorite Riches, our favorite Joes, our favorite Georges, our favorite Jasons, and of course, our favorite Justins. That's it. That's what we're drafting. Now, here's the rules for this particular draft. You cannot draft yourself. I cannot draft Justin Stevens. Now, anybody else on the board here on the panel can draft Justin Stevens, but I cannot. So we cannot draft ourselves. All right. Also, some of the other rules. Your first 2 rounds are safe. That did not change, guys. The first 2 rounds were safe. The Wheel of Consequences is still in play after the 3rd round. And you cannot spin the wheel. I did change the verbiage on the Wheel of Consequences a little bit for the last round. The Wheel of Consequences cannot be spun in the round that we designate to be the last round or any subsequent rounds or like add-on picks after that. Just because I went back and watched some old episodes and that was kind of a hiccup in a couple of situations. So if we're going 8 rounds, which for now is the designated that we're going is 8 rounds. And once we get to that 8th round, if you have add-on picks after that because of the Wheel of Consequences, which all this will make sense to the viewers later, you can't spin the wheel on anything on or after that 8th round. Now, the Wheel of Consequences has a lot of great, really good, lucky things for you, and a lot of unlucky things for you as well. And if you're George or Joe, it really seems to kind of hit you more on the negative side. Am I right, fellas?
No, I love the Wheel of Consequences. It's my favorite.
I'm going to try to use it to my advantage. I have a different strategy, which I'm not going to announce on the show here, that I might deploy today.
Oh, okay, all right.
Joe's going to deploy some strategery.
So there was an episode. I'm not going to say if this is your strategy or not, but there was an episode last season where Rich actually was getting hit a couple shows in a row. He's getting hit with that Wheel of Consequences. So he changed up his strategy and it went pretty well for him by the end. So I'm wondering if you're going with the same strategy there. But speaking of Rich, when he gets back, I'm going to have him spin the wheel here because this is a new season. So with the new season comes a new draft order. All right. So from this point on for the rest of the season, the worst finishing team on average will get the top pick. Before we really get into that, and while we're waiting on Rich here, I do want to go over the overall results from last season. So from season 2, the overall winner of season 2 was actually George. George had an average finish of 1.8. So congratulations to you, George. You win a pat on the back. You only won one time of the 5 episodes, but you got second place all of the other episodes. So that
consistency is key. Got to be consistent.
Cheating.
Very consistent. Our only 2-time winner last season, speaking of cheating, was Jason. He won the Scary Movies draft and the Super Villains draft. So all the bad guy stuff was that was Jason, of course. Rich won the superheroes. I won the wrestling, and then George, you won the Hall of Fame roster draft. Jason, you finished second among us with an average finish of 2.5. That was figuring a penalty for missing an episode. So if you miss episodes, you get hit with a penalty as well. So just so you guys know, the only way I can figure it fairly.
I will say that I missed another one of the drafts that I was smoked to you guys in, which was the superhero draft. As the guy who knows the most about comics, I would have smoked y'all.
No, don't think so, but okay.
He did win the super villains draft, so we can't really necessarily say otherwise, except that you didn't show up, so we can't say otherwise. Joe finished third among us at an average finish of 4. Actually, you know what? Rich finished second among us at 2.3. I missed that one. I didn't move him up. So it was George, then Rich, then Jason, then Joe, and then myself. I finished with 4.8. Now, after winning season 1, I came back with this main panel of 5 here with a last place finish. And that was even with winning 1. That's how bad all of my other drafts were. It was pathetic. But like I said, the topic for today is names. We're going to be drafting our favorite Justins, Joes, Georges, Richards, and Jasons. And that's any variation of the name as well that we could possibly come up with. As long as it's close, we're probably going to count it. Let's face it. We're pretty lenient on our rules here. But for this first round, Rich, go ahead and spin that wheel. If you have a random button there, maybe randomize it a few times. If not, I don't really care. It's not that big of a deal. And then spin the wheel, and we'll see who has the 101 pick in this draft.
All right, give me a number 1 through 5.
3. I always
1,
shuffle 3.
2, 3. All right, ready?
Yep.
First spin.
So, am I the only person who's under the impression that there's no clear 101 pick for this draft?
Cheating.
Yeah, that's rigged.
I kind of have a 101 pick personally.
I do have to say, guys, at least I don't have to change Rich's name from the first spot on the board.
There you go.
See, he's already helping you out.
Bright side.
All right, I will remove my name.
Let's spin it again.
Right. Next spin.
I better start Googling some names.
Justin, who's your clear 101? Just out of curiosity.
Nice. Nice try. Jason has the 102.
It's over already.
All right, yeah. If I can't get the 101 or the 102, I hope I end up with the 105 here, just to have that back to back. I don't think anybody's going to take my 101. Of course, after I say that, right in the middle.
Hey, Joe, should we just play paper, scissors, rock? I mean, at this point.
Rock, scissors, paper?
Yeah. These things are always against us, this show.
You know what? I do kind of like going back to back, though.
Just spin it.
Wait, are we snaking or?
Yes. Yeah, it's still a snake draft.
It's a snake draft. Okay.
Yeah. Even when the topic is kind of dumb, we're still snaking.
I'd rather actually have the fifth pick. Sorry, George.
I'm okay. For me, there's no clear 101. So.
Oh, hey, look at that.
I wasn't your 101.
Pete in the chat donating. Appreciate you, Pete. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Pete.
Yep. Hope you have a great weekend. And then, of course, we've got Uncle Steve, and then our number one commenter, Eli, is also in the chat. He's all over the place though, so I just chose one to pull up just to say hi to Eli. Steve is already tipping picks. Look at that. So this is the first time we've done one of these live, and we already have somebody chiming in to tip picks. So So love it. All right. So then it was Joe, and then we've got George will be last. All right, cool. Very good. All right.
So we can't take our own names ever.
You
throughout
cannot,
the entire draft.
Joe. The only Joe in the world that you cannot draft is Joe Clark. Now you could end up with Joe Clark if the wheel of consequences shifts it.
Oh, I just can't draft myself, so I could draft another Joe.
Yes.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yes. And you have to draft at least one of each name. I forgot to mention that as well. You have to mention at least one of each name.
There is a loophole here, I have to say.
You want to say it, or do you want to hold it for yourself?
I don't think I'm taking him, but I'll say it afterwards if nobody else does.
Okay. It's up to you. We've got people in the chat that are tipping picks. So, all right, Rich. Oh,
free Mr. Clark. That's all I gotta say.
Are we starting?
Yep. Go ahead, Rich.
All right. So with the one draft of this year's NFL names of all names is going to be Jason Voorhees.
Oh, game over.
Yep, that's a good one.
And just to respond to Jason, they used to call me Crazy Joe. Now they call me Batman.
There you go. Joe knows what I'm talking about. Joe always knows.
Yeah. Yep. Who's got the board?
Oh, I'll update it. Sorry.
No, you're good. Jason Voorhees was taken. So
that was a good one, Rich.
Yeah, definitely. If not the top Jason, he's up there. Should be up there for everybody's list.
It's the only Jason I knew.
Well, so there are guys that I want to pick in front of this, but I think Jason is one of the more limited groupings of names. There's a couple Jasons I like, but I can't get out of this draft without taking Jason Bourne. Because to me, Jason Bourne could totally take out Jason Voorhees.
Okay.
I actually agree with that.
I mean, maybe he could take him out, but then Voorhees just comes back. Once Bourne dies, he's dead.
Bourne can't die. Come on, man.
That's fair too. All right, so I'm up, and I feel like to me the most limited name on this board is Justin. Like, there's just not a whole lot of Justins, but at the same time, I have a very particular Joe in mind, and only the first two rounds are safe. So I don't want this to be one that slips and somebody gets later, or maybe I take him later and it gets shifted. But I'm going to start right off the bat with the controversy. So this one may have to get put to a vote. But my favorite personal Joe of all time is Sloppy Joe.
That's not a person.
I like it.
I never said it had to be a person. Not once. I just said our favorite Joes, our favorite Riches, our favorite Georges, and our favorite Jasons.
I'm voting yes.
Listen, I'm not going to argue with it because I think it's weak. To be honest. I don't think it's going to get you many votes. But I was under the impression it had to be either a person or fictional character. So
yeah, nope, never said any of that. Just our favorite. I said it could be somebody that's alive. It could be anybody like that. But I will ask you this though, George. Whoever your number one Joe is on your list, which I know you probably didn't do a list. Do you like Sloppy Joe better than that person?
No, I like this person a lot better than Sloppy Joe.
Ooh, okay, all right. That better be Joe Clark, or I'm going to feel really bad for him. All right, Joe. Speaking of Joe Clark, you are up, my man.
All right, this is not a limited name, but I just like it so much. It's going to be a George. I think this is a George that it's a little dated, but it's probably one of the most popular Georges in pop culture history. I'm going to go with George Costanza, one of my favorite characters of all time.
Yep. Actually, that's my 101 for Georges also. Yeah.
First George that comes to mind when I think of a George, besides our George.
Yeah.
Now, I do need to get some clarification because the person I want to use definitely qualifies under the name Joseph, but Joseph is his middle name.
Should be fine.
It's his legal. It's his legal middle name.
It can be legal middle name or even a middle name he goes by. Like it doesn't matter. That's fine. Yep.
That's fine. All right. So I was going back and forth between two, but this one is by far and away the best Joseph in the history of Josephs. Joseph Clark is second to this, but I'm going Michael Joseph Jackson, aka Michael Jackson.
Ooh, okay. I like it.
I'm gonna type his middle name in there, even though most people just know him by Michael Jackson, so that people understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have
in there.
Oh, and actually, you know what? Michael Joseph Jackson was on my list. I just had him down pretty low because I didn't think people would think outside the box. Good for you, George.
You guys had Michael Joseph Jackson?
I did. Yes.
Joe, I Googled that 2 minutes ago. I literally Googled it 2 minutes ago, the most famous Josephs, and that was the top one.
I'll make the list one day.
And then you were second.
Like I said, Joe, you were my number 2.
My trajectory is pretty startling.
Yep. And the next one I'm going to take, there might be greater Georges out there, but I am particularly fond of this one because if it wasn't for this George, we probably wouldn't have a United States of America. So I'm going to go with General George Washington.
Look at that.
That was my George 1.2.
He's on my list,
I should say.
Yep.
I had to go Costanza.
All right, guys. Not for George Washington, but I am going to need somebody to spell check me on some of these names eventually.
Yep.
I got you.
Wait till I start busting out some Russian Justins. You're going to love it.
Justinovich.
I will definitely approve that. All right, Joey, you are back on the clock.
All right, I'm going to go with a namesake over here, and I'm going to go with Joe Montana.
Ooh, nice. Very good. Very good.
That is a good one.
Yeah, second best quarterback of all time, as we learned from the Hall of Fame draft.
Yep. After Danny Dimes.
Right behind Dan Marino.
Here we go again. All right. That conversation.
All I can say is I was right on that argument because I won that draft.
So I like I said, I went back and watched some old episodes throughout the season this year, and I got to say that that conversation took like 25 minutes during that draft, just so we're all aware. But
still adding on.
Now, guys, just so you know, this second round is brought to you by our Gilded Chat, a free community of fantasy football and football nerds that all love to sit and talk football all the time. We've got over 200 people in that chat. We are currently building leagues upon leagues upon leagues throughout the offseason for you to play during the next NFL season. And Jerry Bagshaw is one of those guys that are in that Gilded, and he's in the chat here. Yes, you absolutely can make suggestions. Go for it. Why not? If it ticks the guys off too much, then we'll stop doing these live. But I think it's kind of fun. Go for it, Jerry. Let's see what you got. Steve did it earlier, so why not? So anyway, if you want in on that Gilded, just DM me at JustinFF_. I'll get you taken care of there. But now on to my pick here, and again, I think Justin's are kind of the most narrow here, and so I've got my pick of the litter. My favorite wide receiver in the league, my favorite NFL player probably right now going, except for Jonathan Taylor, would be Justin Jefferson. So I'm going to go ahead. I know this isn't a football show, but it's our favorites, and Justin Jefferson is a guy that I want to have locked in, secured, and I don't want him leaving my team. So I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson with my second pick here.
All right, Justin Jefferson.
Not even a Vikings fan, but I look good in purple. So,
all right. Well, I'm gonna let Justin slide a little bit. We're gonna let it roll. We're gonna keep going because there's somebody. If I didn't leave this draft with, I'd be real upset with myself. one of my favorite comedians of all time. A guy who's being used by both the left and the right to point how each other side is hypocritical even these days. I'm picking George Carlin.
Oh man, I actually kind of thought he was
Excellent selection.
wide. Yeah, I thought I was going to get him in the next round. It's like, man, people don't remember him.
You guys are too young to remember George Carlin.
My dad and
sir.
I got to go see him live.
Wow.
Like his last tour here and locally. And it was no new stuff, right? It was all these best hits that he put strung together, but still to this day, the best comedy show I've ever seen.
I didn't realize you were 84 years old, Jason.
I'm just about that age at this point.
George Carlin's a great pick, man. You got a nice little stack there.
HBO in the 1980s used to have great comedy specials. Eddie Murphy, George Carlin, and George and many others. But I remember the first time I saw George Carlin on HBO was a little kid, and him and Eddie Murphy, Delirious, were like the two times in my life where literally I'm on the floor holding my gut because I'm laughing so hard you can't breathe, and and you're listening to him and you can't catch up. Like, it just makes you laugh harder and harder. I literally could not breathe. I'm on the floor like grabbing my sides.
Yep. All right, Rich, double tap here, man.
Yeah. So, man, I'm just trying to decide which one I want to put in the second round because there's such good choices I still got, and I don't want nobody taking them. I'm going to take this one because I got Jason right here sitting that could eventually snipe me and stuff like that. So I'm going with Dick Grayson.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Very good.
Excellent.
On my list. He was high on my list.
And for all those people that I know a lot of people know who Dick Grayson is and stuff like that. Obviously, Nightwing.
First he was Robin, and then went separate ways from Batman, became Nightwing. Little known fact, or probably better known fact, became Batman a little bit after Bane broke his back. They don't show that in the movies. Happened in the comics. But yeah, Nightwing's a great pick.
Dick Grayson.
And so with my next pick,
Dick Grayson,
I am going to go Joe Dirt.
I love
Nice.
it. I love it.
Very
My
high
middle
on
name?
Joe's list.
I love Joe Dirt. That's a great movie. Now Jerry's over there tipping later picks.
Later picks. Okay.
Well, he would have been. I probably won't get him now because I'm going to let him slide here because I'm going to double tap George's here. Because if the
most
nerd in
popular
me,
name in the history of the world.
if the nerd in me didn't walk out of this draft without George Lucas,
Nice.
there would be a giant problem. Now the wheel might screw this over, for sure. But I can at least say when my wife looks at me in the eyes and she says, "Did you draft George Lucas?" I can say, "Yep, I did it." So
I did it, and I lost him to George.
And I lost him to George. Yeah, so George Lucas.
All right. Now, I got to say, that was already going to be my next pick, Jerry, was Richard Pryor, because we started talking about the great comedians after George Carlin. So as soon as the great comedians started to be talked about, I knew I was going to have to jump on them soon. And it's my 101 for Richard. So I know Jason said later picks, but it was going to be my next pick no matter what. I have absolutely I'm not bashful at all to say that Richard Pryor is one of the greatest comedians of our early days. So put him on the board for me. Now I just hope that the wedge, the wheel of consequences, is favorable to me, and I don't lose that third round pick, because as we all know, that third one is usually a little pretty risky with the wheel of consequences.
So is Stir Crazy one of the best movies of all time with him?
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm partial to The Toy. Did y'all ever see The Toy?
Oh yes, that's a great movie.
Different genre there, Joe. Jason's talking about a different genre of The Toy.
Gotcha.
So my favorite, see no evil, hear no evil.
Yeah. Superman 3 is good too, by the way.
Gene Wilder.
Oh, so I'm up. Okay, I'm up already. Okay, let's go with
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go with you know what? Let's spin that wheel. Can I spin it
We
now,
have
or do
to
I have to
wait
make
till after the third round.
I have to wait to after the third round. Okay, great.
Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna
But
get a difficult
I
one.
love that though. I love the excitement there.
I might as well. You know what? I might as well learn to embrace it. All right, so let's go with I've been having a hard time with this first name, so I want to get one out of the way. I'll go with Justin Timberlake. Not exciting.
Good. I mean, yeah, it's my second, Justin.
But yeah, not so bad. Huh?
Yeah,
So,
I like it. I'm a fan.
I'm scrolling for famous Richards, and I came across a guy by the name of Dick Pound.
Hey, make sure you delete that search history after the show.
I'm just famous Richards is coming straight from Wikipedia. He was the Canadian swimmer, first president of the World and former vice president of the International Olympic Committee. No, that's not my pick, Jason. I just said I came across a guy by the name of Dick Pound, and I wanted to read his credentials.
He should really call himself Richard.
He should definitely go by a different name. But that is a legitimate name, and I almost want to leave it there just because that name is a guaranteed vote getter. But I'm not. I am going to go with probably the most famous Rick. At least one of the most famous Ricks on the planet. And his name is Ric Flair. Woo!
Yep.
16-time world heavyweight champion.
Yeah. Jerry, you don't have to stop, man. I wasn't mad. I think it's funny.
No, Jerry, keep them coming.
Styling and profiling.
Exactly. The strut.
Ooh, look at this. Breaking news. Scott Fish just announced that they are doubling the Scott Fish Bowl live events, which is pretty awesome.
Absolutely. That means there's a chance I might be back.
And I know you were laughing about Dick Trickle, but he is definitely on my list. I remember watching him race.
So I'm going to take the wheel here. I want to get that wheel going.
You got it. Remember, guys, we all have to spin the wheel of consequences at least twice. So here's George getting one of them out of the way. And so let me shuffle this 3 times. And George, all of your opponents must select a Jason with their next pick, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So it's your option if you want to take a Jason. But the rest of us, with our next pick, we have to take a Jason.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I am opting not to take a Jason. I do agree that Just is probably one of the harder names to fulfill in this draft. So as I'm looking through, there's really only 2 other Justins that I even know who they are. And I'm not taking one of them. So I'm going to have to go with the Biebs and take Justin Bieber.
Real vote getter among our crowd, I'll tell you.
Oh,
absolutely. It was between, for when I took my Justin, it was between Timberlake and Bieber. It was one or the other.
I would have rather have taken Timberlake, but I will settle for the Biebs.
I don't know. Rich was going like this, like he's a what do they call him? A believer.
I think he was doing that because
in that.
I thought you were doing it just because that there was another Justin that you wanted and I didn't take them.
All right. So George, you've got your Justin Bieber. Now you need your 4th pick. Oh, no, you already took a third. Who was your 3rd pick?
It was Ric Flair. I should have Ric Flair in the 3rd and Justin Bieber in the 4th.
That's right. And let's highlight that square.
Jason's trying to remove it so he could take them.
Let's highlight
Jason
that
wanted the
yellow.
Biebs. That's what it was.
Whoever's updating it, yeah, highlight that square yellow so that we know that George spun the wheel because we have to spin it twice. That's how we keep track. Now, Joe. So these next 4 picks all have to be adjacent. So Joe, you have the advantage of being the first one up here.
All right, so I needed a Jason anyway, and again, not sexy, but definitely one of my favorite Jasons of all time, and I'm going to go with Jason Bateman.
Yep, love it.
Wait, can I spin the wheel, or is it too late?
I think it's too late.
It's too late.
I mean, I'm willing to let you spin the wheel, but you might lose your Jason Bateman pick.
I'll just take Bateman.
All right.
It's a good call.
Yeah, I mean, Jason Bateman is my 101 in Jason's. I love Jason Bateman. I'm a huge fan. So
I'm gonna have a problem here, guys. I'm gonna have 2 Jasons and 2 Georges.
Don't steal Jason Bateman.
There's still enough picks left for you to fill your draft, though.
Yep, you're just going to be very limited on the selections you can take.
All right. So I have to take
pigeonholed
here. I have probably 5 Jasons here that I would really want. So I'm good on Jasons. But because I've got the options, I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel as well to get my first one out of the way and see what happens here. So I'm going to shuffle 3 times.
Is there anything that removes us having to pick Jason?
Shouldn't. I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. Rich gets to choose one of my picks to drop. Man. Then I can't select that pick again this round or the next, but it goes back into the player pool if any of you want them. But I get to pick twice, once to fill that spot and then this pick. So looking at the board now, I think there's only one pick that I can drop. So it's Richard Pryor. Damn. All right. So, Rich, you don't really have a decision to make. You can only choose Richard Pryor. So
that ain't fair.
I guess we're dropping Richard Pryor. And then I get 2 picks here, but it can't be Richard Pryor. And I can't take Richard Pryor on the next, which means he'll definitely be gone by the time it gets back. All right. But my next pick, though, has to be a Jason. So that's going to be Jason Statham. Because it has to be Jason Statham. That's pretty much what's left.
I love him.
Yeah, big fan.
I have to see his new movie.
Oh, man.
Are you talking about The Beekeeper? It's an excellent movie. It's excellent.
All right, cool. Looking forward to it. Maybe I'll watch it tonight.
All right, so I could, you know what? Since I lost Richard Pryor, I'm going to pivot back over to the Rich column and go with Ricky this time, the one and only greatest NASCAR driver of all time, Ricky Bobby.
Shake and bake, baby. Shake and bake.
That's right. Shake and bake.
I thought you were going baseball and Ricky Henderson.
Nope. I said greatest NASCAR driver. So not Ricky Rudd. Ricky Bobby.
It's insane. Like today's baseball players would have to steal 60 plus bases for like 20 years and they still wouldn't pass Ricky Henderson in the record books. It's insane how good of a base stealer that man was.
Maybe the catchers were really bad back then.
I love that he always referred to himself in the third person. He referred to himself as Ricky Henderson
all the time.
Yeah. My favorite Ricky Henderson story is about him meeting up with John Olerud in New York and saying, "Hey, man, I remember a guy who used to wear a helmet on first when I played in Toronto." And John was like, "Hey, Ricky, that was me." All right, so I have to pick a Jason here.
Yep.
I'm kind of glad that it pigeonholed me into this. I'm good with it. I am going to take everyone's, at least seemingly lately, favorite Jason. I'm taking Ted Lasso himself, Jason Sudeikis.
There you go. Yep. Very nice.
And then I will pass it off to Rich for 2.
I got a plethora of Jasons that I have listed here.
A plethora.
Yeah, a plethora.
Same here.
plethora. I am gonna, man. I really want to tie it with something, but I just don't know how much people are gonna remember this Jason. But I'm gonna go Jason Momoa.
Nice pick.
Yep. Just watched Dune again today. He's in Dune.
And with my next pick, the most famous, well, I don't want to say most famous, one of the most infamous Joes of all time is Joe Exotic, the Tiger King.
Ah,
Tiger
nice.
King.
Love it. He was high on my list. He was in the top tier of Joe's.
He was
All
right
right,
after
guys.
Joseph Clark.
That's a great one. That's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's number 3, right under Joe Clark. I'm gonna. I guess I gotta spin the wheel. Let's spin it up.
Right. All right. Here we go, Jason. Shuffle 3 times. Let's see what you get.
Hey, can I make a rule change for not this week, but next week or next month and the games going forward?
Maybe. But Jason, with this pick, you must select a Justin.
Okay, I'm in.
What are you talking here, George?
So for the spinning the wheel, you cannot do it. You have to do it after round 3, but you cannot do it in back-to-back rounds. This way it spaces out and it gives you more of an option to, if you have consequences for somebody else or for yourself, just no back-to-back rounds.
Boo. I don't like that.
Well, you still got to do it twice. You just can't get it done early. That's all.
But also it means that you're pretty much only going to do it in rounds 4 and 6.
No, you can do it in round 4. You could do it in round 5, 6.
No, because you can't do 2 rounds in a row. So you can't do 4 and 5. So you can do 4 and 6, and that's it.
Justin Peter Griffin.
Peter always believed.
I don't know about that one.
Peter always believed his full name was Peter Lowenbrow Griffin. However, later in the show, he finds out his actual full name is Justin Peter Griffin, and he was born in Mexico.
No, it's on my list. It's very high on my list, and I thought I could get it later without people knowing.
No,
here's the
thing. I was going to leave it because I didn't think anybody else would know it either. But because I spun the wheel and it made me pick a Justin, I took the one I wanted.
Now I'm looking online here, and it said he was born Justin Peter McFinnigan.
Yes,
not Griffin. That's so I think you have to put Justin Peter McFinnigan, his real name, not Justin Peter Griffin. The
problem is nobody's going to understand who Peter McFinnigan is.
That's not the point. You think people are going to understand Michael Joseph Jackson is actually Michael Jackson? No, there's people who are absolutely going to miss that.
So when I thought
you have to put his name.
When I thought that I was running the board, what I was going to do if there was a situation like this was put the actual name Justin Peter McFinnigan, then just put / Peter Griffin, and actually it would be fine. Peter Griffin / Peter Griffin Senior is what it would be, because he's senior for some reason.
Yeah, I just think you have to put the actual name of the person.
I don't know how to spell his last name then.
Mick. It's capital MC, capital FINNIGAN.
Yeah, you haven't been ignored, Eli. We just I don't know the one person that you suggested earlier, so all your other comments have been about that. So, all right. So now I'm up, and I know who I'm going to take, but I want to go ahead and spin the wheel. And for me, spinning the wheel a lot this time is just because mostly this draft is just all over the place and it doesn't matter. I might even spin it every single round, but
just a little bit of chaos. Why not? It's all good.
So Joe gets to choose one of my picks to drop. Again with the drop picks. Maybe I won't spin it every time. All right. So, Joe, you get to choose one of my picks to drop, keeping in mind that my top 2 picks are safe. So that means you can drop Jason Statham or Ricky Bobby from my board.
Now, so I'm not stealing. It's just the names you're just taking it off your list?
Yes, just dropping it off the list.
Did it also say that I'm not doing it this round? I'm doing it later?
No, you're dropping them now. I cannot pick them again this round or the next. They're back on the board, and you guys can take them, but I can't.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, you created the wheel. You're gonna die by the wheel. You're gonna drop Ricky Bobby.
Oh no, I'd rather lose Jason Statham.
No, that Ricky Bobby was too good.
Oh man, now you're
if this were Rich, I would have had him drop Joe Exotic. That was just too good.
All right, so before you get your next pick, because we know who you're taking, let me. You know what? This means now I've lost 2 of my top picks, my top 4 picks. So I need to reach out for some votes. I'm going to be pandering to our particular audience, but I'm also drafting a guy that I listen to at least twice a week, usually 3 times a week. He is my absolute favorite fantasy footballer on the show, Jason Moore of the Fantasy Footballers. So I need you to go ahead and type that on in there, and then whenever I post this this voting on Twitter, I always try to tag as many of the people that we vote or that we choose as possible. You better believe I'm going to @ Jason Moore of the Fantasy Footballers to try to get them votes.
That's nothing. I'm going to @ George Washington, so I'm not even worried. Like, no sweat off my back.
You know, that's the funny thing. When I try to tag all those people, if it is somebody like that, I always find one that has a big following. So I'm going to do my best to get you that, George. All right. So
it'll
that
either
was
be Washington or Michael Jackson. Those are my top 2 candidates I would like you to tag, please.
All right. So next, what do we got? I'm gonna go back to the comedian well here, and I'm gonna select a cultural icon, one of the top I don't know, just one of the top original Hispanic comedians of all time. I'm going with George Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful choice.
It is a great choice.
You are welcome.
That's a good one.
All right, so I got that out of the way. I don't think I'm going to hit the wheel again. Joe, go ahead and take my damn Ricky Bobby.
Well, I'm going to spin the wheel, so maybe I'll get screwed out.
All right. Pick. Shuffle 3 times, and here you go, Joe.
Let's see. You gotta spin it to win it, or to lose it.
Jason gets to choose one of your picks to drop.
That's a damn lie.
I can't believe 3 of the. There's only 5 on there, and 3 of them have now been hit.
Rigged.
All right, let me see what Joe's got. Oh, here's my problem. The guy I really want to drop for Joe would make George's team way better. I mean, either one of them, honestly, would make George's team better.
I'm not taking either one of those 2. I've already got my next pick. My next pick is locked in.
All right, I am dropping. I'm going to go ahead and I can't. Let's see. I'm going to drop Jason Bateman because I think Justin Timberlake is I want to be nice and leave Justin Timberlake the 101 on Joe's team. I also don't want George getting Justin Timberlake. I like the idea of just leaving Joe with Justin. So
I wasn't taking either of them.
I don't trust him.
I'm not going to take either one.
He's
so
playing
if
the
he
game.
drops Jason, does he have to pick another Jason? Because
he will.
That's
in that round.
No, he made the pick of Jason when he was supposed to. It doesn't have to be a Jason to replace him now.
I think that's bull dunk.
He has to pick a Jason at some point, though, right? Like he has.
Yeah,
to
you
have
still have to
Jason.
take a Jason at some point. Yeah, but it just doesn't have to be right now. But you do get 2 picks now, Joe. One to replace Jason Bateman, and one for this pick that you were supposed to already take.
All right, so I'll take Ricky Bobby.
He's going to take both of them.
Very good. I love that pick. That's an amazing pick, actually.
Joe, I wish I would have thought of that one.
I know who else he should take, but I won't say it.
Oh, George goes?
No, Joe, you
got another pick.
No.
Oh, can I take Jason Bateman?
No.
No, because you just lost him, so you can't take him with this pick or the next pick. So
I'm going to do something a little tricky here, but all right. Can I now? This person I'm going to name. He goes by a stage name, but his real name is something else. Can we do, which I wasn't even really aware of, or I didn't know what his real name was until right now. Can we do like his real name and then parentheses AKA his stage name?
Yeah, that's pretty much what we did with the whole Peter Griffin thing. So yeah.
All right. Just wanted to make sure. All right, so I'm going to go with this one's probably not going to get too many votes, but I just think it's pretty neat. I'm going to go with Richard Starkey. That's Starkey, AKA Ringo Starr.
Yep, good pick. I had him on my list.
Yeah, I wasn't aware. I knew Ringo Starr. There's no way that was his real name, but I never bothered to look until 5 minutes ago to see what his real name was.
Yep. Very good. I'm glad you took him because usually you're the one that doesn't like my loopholes. So I'm glad that you're starting to come around on this whole cheating thing.
I'm going to call you out on all your cheating.
George.
Right, so I'm gonna spin the wheel. Get my second spin out the way. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammies.
You have to make a forced trade with Joe.
Uh-oh. I don't know. I think I like that might be my benefit. I like all of George's picks.
So Ricky Bobby's coming over to me.
He makes another move.
I'm gonna give him Justin Bieber. I want him to have Timberlake and the Bieber.
That's pretty poetic,
popular.
actually.
You know, it is ironic that Ricky Bobby is shaking and baking all over this board.
Yeah, right. Making moves. Right?
Like I said, it was a great pick for Ricky Bobby. I wish I would have thought of it. Now I'm happy he's on my team.
I'm going to get him back.
Probably. So I'm going to go with I got to pick a Jason, and you guys took a lot of Jasons. I mean, you took a lot, but I'm going to go with the name Jay, and I'm going to go with Jay-Z.
Yep. Good pick. That was going to be soon.
Yep. And please tag him and his 3+ million followers for me, please. Thank you. Because most of my guys are either dead, 87, or don't exist.
Man, Ric Flair still has a heck of a and don't think that I'm not going to try to tag Will Ferrell instead of Ricky Bobby. By the way,
okay.
Yeah. Don't worry, I try to look out for you guys.
And I need another pick here. I do need a Justin, because I traded mine away, and there was only really one other Justin that I knew. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to go there. I can't even bring myself to draft this guy. I just can't, and I can explain it after the show. I just cannot do it. We're gonna stick with I'm gonna go with another form of Richard. So, well, I got Ric Flair, I got Ricky Bobby. I need at least one more Justin, and I complete my list, right? Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with Sir Richard Branson.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
You'll have to tell me who that is.
He's a rich guy who founded Virgin Atlantic and then had Virgin Space.
Originally Virgin Records, right?
Yeah. Yep.
He's Jason's competitor.
He's all about the Virgin.
Okay. All right.
And then Joe, you're
All
up
right.
again.
All right, let's spin that wheel again.
All right. There you go, Joey.
Give me something good. Give me something good.
All of your opponents must select a George. No, I didn't want a George this time. Okay, you do not have to take a George here, Joe. You can choose whatever you want, but everybody else, the rest of us have to take a George with our next pick.
Cool.
Hey,
all right.
Justin, how many more rounds are we going?
Well, let's see. We are we're at, well, I mean, I could probably go 10, but I don't know how you guys feel. We're guaranteed.
I'm good. Whatever.
Wait, Rich has a birthday party to get back to. Let's keep it at 8. That's
Please.
that little girl's birthday party is way more important. So, all right, yeah, let's keep it at 8.
Well, they're watching this. They're watching the show right now. Right?
All right.
Watching. All right. Can we bring up the chart? I think I know who I want. I think I need to get. Let's see. We got that. I'm sorry, I could have brought that up myself.
No, you're good.
I do have it. I do have. All right, George, Joe, Justin. I don't have a Jason, huh?
Correct.
I had a Jason, didn't I? And it was stolen, I think. Well, I'm not going to do a Jason right now. I am going to go with another Joe. And this is one who's actually popular today. He's not dated. I'm going to go with Joe Rogan.
That's a great pick.
Probably my best pick so far.
I mean, I liked your pick of Ricky Bobby.
That was my steal, my thievery of Ricky Bobby.
All right, and he gets a yellow square on that one because he's forcing all of us to draft a George here, which I did not want. I was super excited about my next pick, but instead I have to go with another George after I just took one. And let's see. If I wanted to stay true to my list, George Reed would be next on my list. Believe it or not.
Go.
But I'm not going to say on my list because I'm starting to realize just how dumb that was, because we have a pretty obvious George up there. I got to go with Curious George. If you get an opportunity to get a monkey on your team, you got to do it. So we all grew up.
You could have picked me. There's not much of a difference.
I guess that's fair. But give me Curious George. I want to have a monkey on my team. So, and no, I'm not spinning the wheel again.
So I've got a rules question. We've got 2 more rounds, and I still need 2 names. I need a Rich and a Joe. I can't pick a George.
So you might need to spin the wheel and see if you can steal somebody.
Justin, what's the rules there? So if we've got 2 rounds,
you still have to spin the wheel anyway. And also, Rich, did you not spin the wheel yet?
Not yet.
Because
we still have 2 rounds, so he's got to do 7 and 8.
He's not supposed to in the last round, but he won't have a choice because we didn't catch it on that 6th turn. So, but that's all right. I
mean, I think the rules would say that I probably can't take a George.
So that's correct. So the rules of what you have to draft would definitely supersede the wheel. So yeah, but
I do have to spin.
You have to spin the wheel anyway. So let's see what happens.
All right.
Personally, I think he should lose one of the other Georges and have to draft another one that's not already drafted to replace that.
Yeah, that's not what the wheel said.
It said he had to draft a George. He's not even doing that.
But we also say that if the wheel cannot be done, we spin again. So
which is what I have to do here, right?
That would just not force me to have to take a George because we'd have to spin again. All right, choose another player to get 2 picks in the next round and lose their final round pick. So you get to choose any one of us to give us 2 picks in the next round.
But I think the next round's round 8, so it's the last. I don't think we can do that one, Justin.
You can choose Rich.
Oh, okay. Well, Rich. It works out exactly the same. So, Rich.
All right.
So with my pick, I was a little disappointed George didn't take him at the turn, but luckily Joe spun the wheel and made it impossible for Justin to get this gentleman back.
Yes.
I am taking Richard Pryor to go with my George Carlin.
So stupid. I hate this wheel. The wheel really killed me this game. For sure. All right, Rich, you spin the wheel twice.
Let's do it.
Well, he's got it. Yeah.
Wait, didn't everyone have to take a George with their next pick?
Well, he can't because of the main rule of you have to draft at least one of each person.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right.
Okay.
So, Rich, you get to be placed in the group of 2 for the Twitter voting. So it's going to be you and one other person in the Twitter voting, and the other 3 of us will all be, and we'll spin for that in a minute after we're done with the draft here. But so there's going to be one group of 2 and one group of 3. Rich automatically gets to be in the group of 2.
Do I get to pick them?
No. We're going to spin for it, but it's the top person, it's the top vote getter of each group that moves on. So you have a 50-50 chance with one other person, and the other 3 is going to have a 33% chance. So
the rule change should be that I get to pick who it is.
But no. You already have a huge advantage here. Now stop being greedy. All right. So make your pick.
So I gotta pick a George on this one. So I'm gonna go George of the Jungle.
Yep, that is definitely available.
Yep.
And then you're gonna spin the wheel again. You can't lose your pick this round, so we'll remove that and try it again. Rules say if it can't be done on the second spin, then we just move on. Oh, this one can be done. You get to make a force trade with Jason. So that means anybody on your team that's not in your top 2 picks for anybody on his team that's not in his top 2 picks.
Dang. I really like all my picks. You know what? No. Let's go ahead and change George Lucas for Jason Momoa.
Now, can that be done, Jason? If you do that, because you already have 2 Georges. So losing one of them, that can still be done. Yeah,
that's a good one.
And
that one hurts a lot. So
yeah, that's devastating.
I almost made it. Almost made it out alive.
Yeah.
No, it can't be done. This can't be done, guys.
Why's that?
So, Rich, you have Jason, you have Rich, or Dick, you have Joe.
Yeah, I can. I already have a Jason. Only other person I got to pick is a Justin.
Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot about George of the Jungle. You're good. Oh, and you're getting George Lucas. Duh. Never mind. So, you have to pick a Justin then.
Okay, man. I really don't have a Justin, to be honest with you.
I could give you a great one if you wanted it.
What about Just in Time?
It's actually it's a cartoon character. I mean, I don't necessarily like.
I don't care. Go for it.
I'm not going to do that one.
I don't know how I would tag it.
I'm going to pick the best Justin of all, and that is Justin Stevens.
Hey, look at that. I'll vote for you.
All right, I'll give you the one that I found honestly after I picked Peter Griffin, because I would totally switch if I had okay, I gotta find a Joe. Let me look through my list.
A good one. I got the best one of all time, and I really was hoping and I totally forgot I couldn't pick it. So
oh man, I gotta decide.
Joe Mama?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Joe Mama.
Man, I got a couple here.
That was going to be my last round pick, but I can't take a Joe, so I'm glad somebody else mentioned it. But that literally is my number 2 Joe after Sloppy Joe.
and I can't take it. I can't take it because I need a Jason.
Oh man, there is a character on here to the level of Ricky Bobby that I really like, but I'm not taking him. I'm gonna go serious and take a really good Joe. At least Joe is in his name, and I guess I'll have to ask the rules committee here. But can I take Billy Joel?
That's
what
Billy Joel.
No,
Joel.
Joel. It's not.
Joel is in it. Joe is in it.
No.
I can't go with that one.
It's a totally different name.
You can do Billy Joe.
There's a lot of Joes out there.
You can do Billy Joe Royal, the country music singer from way back in the day.
Nah, different guy. Okay, so now I have to decide between one of my favorite actors and one of the funniest characters. Or actually a video game character that is near and dear to my heart. I am gonna take, only because a video game character is probably pretty obscure, I'm gonna take Joe Pesci.
Oh, that was my
pick.
If I need another Joe, I was gonna go with him.
Yeah, very good. Well, I had Richard Pryor. That was gonna be my Rich pick, and I was gonna be good on Rich for the rest of the draft, and unfortunately that was ripped away. But now I have to make a Rich pick. It's and I'm actually surprisingly okay with it, because I thought of a guy that I had a little bit further down on the list, but now that because of the way that the draft has gone, kind of surprised nobody else took him. I'm going to go with Richard Cheech Marin from Cheech and Chong. And I actually really like.
Oh, you gotta love Cheech and Chong. My wife were just talking about Cheech and Chong the other day when we were going for a walk, and I forgot his first name was Richard.
All right, Joe, is there a name that you have to take here?
Yeah, I have to take a Jason because my Jason Bateman was stolen, and I'm not crazy about all the Jasons I see left. So I'm going to go really, really old school, and I'm going to go Jason and the Argonauts.
That's really old school. What is that?
Greek mythology. Could be.
Jerry's
got it was Greek mythology.
Does he get the Argonauts or just Jason?
But Jason from the Argonauts.
From the Argonauts, yeah. So Jerry's dropping the honorable mentions here in the chat. George, your final pick, my man.
So I'm supposed to take a George here because of the wheel, but I can't because my draft board supersedes that. I don't have a Justin.
Yep, very good.
I traded away the only Justin I had, the Beeb, over to Joe, so that left me Justinless. And I need some Justin in my life. And honestly, the options were not really that great. That was definitely one of the weaker names.
Ooh, I have a great one you're not going to think of.
Justin Stevens is already taken.
I found one that I'm absolutely happy to take. I think it's for what we do. I think it will be a vote getter that is an upgrade over Justin Bieber. I'm going to go with Justin Herbert, the quarterback for the LA Chargers.
So the great Justin that I had for you, now that the draft is done and we can go over our honorable mentions, was actually J.J. Watt, Justin James Watt.
Yep, I thought about that, but it would have just went Justin. It would have had to go Justin Watt, and I don't think people would have understood that was J.J. Watt. So I thought about that.
So Pat McAfee's middle name is Justin.
Oh, I did not know that.
That I did not.
I didn't either until I was searching for a Justin, and then I searched middle names, and I found it while we were in the draft after I took a Justin. Was forced not to take it, but would have been a terrific pick.
McAfee would have been good. I'm happy with Justin Herbert. There was one. I'll tell you guys after we end the show. There was a Justin out there that I just could not bring myself to draft.
All right. Well, this is interesting. I can't wait to find out. I also had Justin Boots. That was on the list there. Lori reminded me
there was also Justin Fields. I thought about Justin Fields.
Jerry mentioned one earlier in the chat, Justin Verlander. I'm kind of surprised wasn't taken.
Yep, I considered him as well.
Justin Hammer from Iron Man would have been okay.
Yep.
All right, I got some honorable mentions for you guys.
All right,
I got Joe Blow.
The chewing gum.
I got Joey Tribbiani.
Nice, yeah, on my list.
And then the one I know Jason understands this, but Jason Todd.
I don't know that one.
Red Hood from Night.
Yeah, Red Hood. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
George Foreman, George Strait.
Yep. Richard Greer. I'm surprised. Actually, I'm kind of surprised nobody drafted Richard Greer.
Yeah.
He was on there. Richard Nixon. I'm not surprised nobody took him.
I almost did.
Yeah.
Let's see. I had
Babe Ruth.
Glass. Yeah, I had Babe Ruth. I had Glass Joe from Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I don't know if anybody remembers.
Oh yeah,
Glass Joe.
Yeah. I was just thinking of that the other day.
That was my almost video game guy. I had my favorite George that I didn't take was George from Peppa Pig. We had Ricky Gervais.
See you, Rick.
And then Ricky Vaughn, the Wild Thing from Major League.
Yeah, Major League. Yep.
Oh, good one.
So,
hey, Richard's got to go.
Do I need to be present to do the pick with the two?
Oh, actually, yeah. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Pull up your wheel again, if you would. Go ahead and put those 5 names back. Well, 4 names back up there, and we'll just spin the one that's going to go with you. Or actually, you know what? You can go ahead and go. I can do that. Never mind. You're good. You get out of here, gents, man.
I appreciate you all. This was a great night, like always. I can't wait for more. But for everybody that's listening, you got to pick me with all the great names that I have on this list. So I'm already declaring myself a winner. Peace out, Boy Scouts.
Take care, Rich. Happy birthday to
you, Rich.
All right, so we've got us 4. I'm just going to spin. Am I showing it? Yeah. I'm just going to spin it one time, and whoever it lands on gets to be with Rich. The other 3 will be together on the Twitter poll.
Another one was Joe Anoy, also known as Roman Reigns.
Speaking of Joe, we've got Joe and Rich.
Head to head.
And then the other 3 of us are against each other.
Imano.
Yeah. Let's see. I've got Dick Clark and Dick Vitale.
Dick Tracy.
Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn was one that I almost took there in that last round.
Yeah, Jason said that one as well.
Oh, sorry.
Welcome to 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. Well, I heard you say Ricky Gervais, so I did hear you say that one.
There's also Dick Sporting Goods, at least, which is...
Yeah, that would have been a good one. Evidently, the old man on Jurassic Park, his name was Richard Attenborough.
Oh, Attenborough, yeah.
Yeah.
I almost went with King George, but we couldn't tag him on Twitter.
Yeah. George. I was thinking George III. Another history reference I was thinking for Richard was the Bonhomme Richard, which was the ship that John Paul Jones captained in during the Revolutionary War. No one would have gotten it, but it was something that I loved. But I do
George
have to
Clooney.
At least try to. Yeah, George Clooney.
Anybody say George Takei yet?
Nope.
No, I saw him on the top George list.
Well, crap. You know what? I should have searched middle names earlier. Adam Sandler's middle name is Richard.
Huh. We got both of the George Bushes. Neither of them were taken.
No surprise.
That doesn't surprise me.
George Feeney. George Feeney is Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World.
Oh, God. Richard, I was going to do Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, Richard Belding. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So the one name I could... Go ahead, Justin.
I forgot too. Speaking of Saved by the Bell, I totally forgot about our intro today. So
Yeah.
I'll do it as an outro, but we won't stop recording
Yeah.
it. Here's the
Go for
outro. And thank you to Will for throwing that together for me today.
I like that. That came out sweet.
I like it. It has a Funday feel to it.
Yeah.
So the Justin I could not bring myself to draft was
We're
Justin
still
Trudeau.
recording.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That's fine.
It was Justin Trudeau. I just listen. I don't want to get political, but I could not bring myself to draft Justin Trudeau. The history of blackface was just too much for me. I can't go there.
I think a lot of people would have been like, who?
Yeah, I had him.
I
on my
know who
list.
Justin Trudeau is.
Yeah, I had him on my list, but and I'm not a fan of Joe Rogan. I had him on the list too. Yeah, it's definitely a vote getter. He's very trendy.
Big time.
I tried to
vote
stay
getter.
apolitical with my drafts.
I was just worried that it was going to be very vulgar, George, to be honest with you.
No. You don't have to worry about that with me.
Yes, I do. Do you
Me
not
too.
remember our very first draft, the last pick you took in the fictional modes of transportation draft?
No.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it after we quit. We're not.
Was it the Wienermobile?
Yes, yeah, but you didn't call
Dude,
it.
the Nathan's hot
That's a real
dog
thing.
Wienermobile is an iconic vehicle.
Oh.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, not that.
You're talking about the ambiguously gay duo.
So-
That was also iconically famous from when I was a teenager.
Jason Acuna. Has anybody said that one yet?
No,
We man.
we man.
Yeah, I wanted to draft him, but I had to take a Richard in that last round. Yep, a lot of fun, good names left. But
If we would have went with, like, for example, my little brother's name is Jason Joseph Reed. So if I would have drafted my little brother who had 2 of the 5 names on the, like, would it count 1 for each?
yeah, I had a name on my list that did that too. I can't remember who it was, but there is somebody on my list that did that. But it would have counted for both.
See, that was a loophole I should have exploited.
Yeah,
See,
it would have been a
Larry-
good one.
Larry Bird.
Oh,
Yep. So,
Yeah,
all right.
I'm trying to find that one. Yeah, we should probably stop. I doubt. I don't know why people are watching, but thank you for watching.
thank you for watching, everybody.
Yes, yeah, we should still be streaming, Jason. I see that in the chat. That's why I did that. I wanted everybody to see what it's like afterwards as well. But anyway, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for watching. Thanks for make sure you continue to tune in. Toilets to Titles Podcast Network. We have several shows coming out this offseason. This next Saturday, actually, we're doing the Patreon only IDP Dynasty League draft live on YouTube at 9 p.m. So make sure you tune in for that draft. It's not going to be a mock. It's going to be the actual draft, new startup Dynasty League draft. So again, that's for Patreons only, but we're starting several other leagues. So if you want in on any of these leagues, make sure you reach out to me at JustinFF_. Appreciate you all. Have a good night.
Peace out.